beautiful. He's got his elbow locked against this side of his leg to stabilize his trunk while he's underneath, hooking his wrist underneath his leg to be able to lift it up. So this is just a great example of the importance of working on lower extremity management and their ability to get their legs on and off their leg rests. Hello everyone, here is the first video, our very first video for the spinal cord injury section that I'm going to try and make, just so that we can cover that in its own little ditty. So this is Trevor. So shout out Trevor for letting me use his video, and for Lauren for hooking me up with him. So that worked out really well. He has a C6 level injury, and already just from this picture right here, just classic information. He has locked out his elbow. He has a little bit externally rotated. You'll see him have it bent. So it's just a great reminder. I'll highlight it again, but a great reminder of using the bending of the elbow. We need to teach them how to not just lock out, but how to be able to control that elbow when it's bent. Here, beautiful. He's got his elbow locked against this side of his leg to stabilize his trunk while he's underneath, hooking his wrist underneath his leg to be able to lift it up. So this is just a great example of the importance of working on lower extremity management and their ability to get their legs on and off their leg rests. Remember, a lot of times early on, they have removable leg rests. So that can make it even harder at some points of just being able to get down, lift the leg up, then also move it over, and then move the leg rest out of the way and then put the leg back down. That can be hard. But what can be hard with a rigid chair, which is going to be more common when they're out and about, is getting the feet out in front. So let's just go back to where we can watch him strut his stuff here. So the other thing I just want to point out is this is when you might see a seat depth that's a little bit shorter, because he needs to be able to get his wrist underneath his leg and hook it into this little area right here. But see, since his seat depth goes right out to his leg, it just makes it a little bit harder to get it underneath there. So lots and lots of balance work. Balance work with one arm, stabilizing in different positions. This also carries over to dressing, using his arm to be able to move his shift over and then move his pants on and off. But you can see when the shoes stick, I mean, it can be a lot of work. So this is just a great balance exercise as opposed to doing other activities. Stick to function to work on his balance and how to be able to lock. Look at that right there. How his elbows are bent. His hands are externally rotated. His elbows are bent. So really training him to be super strong to be able to use the anterior delt, but also being able to lock and unlock without him losing his set. So he's got his feet off. You know, one option could have been potentially, this is what I would try, is it was so hard for him to get his leg off, which can be very fatiguing, is I may leave his left leg up on the footrest and get one leg off. It also depends on spasticity, those types of things. Here you can see his scapula winging because he's really pushing down, getting ready to pivot. Perfect hand placement, right? He's got as close to his hip as he could. He's using his edge, looks like his wheel, and his gloves are helping his hands with that, and forward with a space. So that if he can get the press up, then he can just turn his head a little bit and his hips should just pendulum and swing right over. Well, that's what we're looking for there. So let's see. He has to readjust his balance. Again, another opportunity. Gave himself a little bit more space. He did a little drag, but that's okay. And then you saw that head hips. Let's look at that head hips one more time. It's getting that lift. I wonder if I can do this while he's, but see how he's bringing his head down this way, right? Because his hips have to go this way. So he just does a stunning job of moving around and trying to get that. Now you can see how his leg is pistoned out a little bit. That is when I see that, and then I may go back and say, if we kept his left leg on the footrest, would it prevent him from having to drag so much? Could he clear that little hump in his cushion more, depending on what kind of cushion this is? It looks like a J2 deep not positive. And then you wouldn't have this risk of going into some kind of extensor tone with his leg extended. So kind of keeping that foot up there, and then once he transfers over, then taking the leg off, potentially. But in the chair, he has more support with the backrest. So there's only trade-offs. There's no perfect answers. You just want to try different things and see what works optimally. Same with the hand placement. See, that leg is a little bit stuck for him. So I probably would go back and I would try again and then look for that lift, timing of the lift. So I would probably also maybe work, I mean, don't get me wrong, he does a phenomenal job, but just because I'm looking for stuff, I would really work on the timing of the lift and the head turn. Lift first, then head turn. What can happen is if they just try and drag and just turn their head at the same time without getting the lift first, then the skin can drag a little bit more. But right there, he's really working on it. But here, now he's got the head and now he's dragging just a bit. Hand might be a little too far out. So I would have probably tried to get him to bring his hand a little closer. He was doing that for balance. That's really smart. And did you see this part? Oh, this is so cool. Sorry. Watch his elbow. So he's really learned, and this is what we teach, really learned to put those elbows, the elbow crease facing forward. So really rotating to bring the elbow crease facing forward, which is really going to help him learn how to lock out when he needs to be able to do that component. So beautiful job, Trevor. Thank you so much for sharing that transfer. And I'll see if I can hit you up with some other stuff because that was awesome. Hopefully that's a little bit helpful, just kind of looking through and analyzing that. I hope y'all have a great day.